Imagine a revolutionary leader, the president of a nation, walking through the streets of his past and suddenly seeing an old, childhood friend, once full of dreams, now struggling as a poor mechanic. What happens next will leave your heart shaken. The dusty sun of Ouagadougou hung heavy that morning, throwing long shadows across the narrow streets. The city was alive with its usual sounds: vendors shouting prices, motorcycles buzzing past, and the faint hammering from workshops, where mechanics worked tirelessly under the heat. But hidden in that ordinary day was an extraordinary moment, one that no one could have predicted, a story that would echo across hearts and continents. Ibrahim Traore, president of Burkina Faso, was not the kind of leader who locked himself behind palaces and tinted windows. His roots remained in the soil of his people, and his steps still touched the same ground he once walked as a barefoot boy. That day, as his convoy slowed near a small roadside workshop, his eyes caught sight of something unusual. There, bent over an old motorcycle engine, with grease-stained hands and clothes that had seen better days, was a man Ibrahim had not seen in years. His breath caught in his throat. The face, though worn with hardship, was unmistakable. "Is that Musa?" Ibrahim whispered to himself. Memories came rushing back. Musa, his childhood friend, the boy who once dreamed alongside him under the shade of mango trees. They had chased goats through dusty fields, shared cassava meals, and promised each other that their futures would be bright. Back then, they believed the world had endless possibilities. But time had been cruel to Musa, while Ibrahim rose through the military ranks and eventually became the face of a new hope for Burkina Faso. Musa's path had been far harsher. Life had pressed him down until all that remained was a small mechanic shop, where survival was earned with sweat, grease, and broken machines. Ibrahim stepped out of his car, against the surprised murmurs of his security detail. The people nearby froze in disbelief. What was the president doing? Walking toward a tiny mechanic's stall? "Musa," Ibrahim's voice cracked slightly as he spoke. The mechanic turned, his eyes squinting under the sun, confusion flickering across his face. Then recognition struck. His oily rag dropped from his hand and his lips trembled. "Ibrahim?" he said, almost not believing his own eyes. The two men stared at each other, their childhoods flashing between them. The dusty football matches, the laughter, the nights spent talking about dreams bigger than themselves. For a moment, the years and the titles melted away. There was no president, no mechanic, only two old friends, reunited after life had scattered them, like leaves in the wind. "I can't believe it's you," Musa said, voice heavy with both joy and sorrow. "Look at you, a leader. And look at me." His eyes lowered to his stained shirt, his cracked fingernails, and the broken motorbike in front of him. Shame flickered across his face. But Ibrahim placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "Do not say that. You are my brother. You are part of who I am." The crowd around them grew, whispers spreading like fire. Phones recorded the moment, but the cameras could never capture the weight of emotion in the air. Ibrahim didn't stop there. He asked his friend to sit with him. Right there, in the middle of the humble workshop, the president of a nation sat on a wooden stool beside a poor mechanic. They spoke as if time had stood still. Musa explained how his family had fallen into hardship, how education slipped away, how his father's illness drained everything they had. He had learned to fix bikes to survive. Listening, Ibrahim's heart ached. For every Musa in Burkina Faso, there were countless others, dreamers who had been robbed by poverty, who had never been given the chance to climb. After a long pause, Ibrahim looked into his friend's weary eyes. "You were always smart, Musa. You had dreams as big as mine. Life has been unfair to you. But today, that changes." Musa's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" Ibrahim stood up and faced the crowd. His voice rose, carrying the weight of leadership and the tenderness of friendship. "This man, this mechanic, is my childhood friend. He represents thousands in our country whose talent has been buried under poverty. But hear me today. Poverty will no longer be the destiny of our people. Together we will rise." The people erupted in applause. Musa's eyes filled with tears. He could not believe what was happening. Ibrahim then turned back to him. "You will no longer work here in struggle. From today, you will join my team. Your skills, your resilience, your spirit, they belong to the nation." Musa shook his head in disbelief. I don't deserve this." But Ibrahim lifted his chin. "Every Burkinabe deserves dignity. You are my brother. You will rise with me." In that moment, the greasy mechanic shop transformed into a symbol of hope. What had been just another street corner became a place where dreams were reborn. The convoy moved again, but this time, Musa rode with Ibrahim, not as a forgotten friend, but as a man reclaimed by destiny. The story spread like wildfire, inspiring countless young men and women across Africa. It wasn't just about one mechanic. It was about a leader who remembered his people, a man who never let power blind him to the faces of his past. Weeks later, Musa's life was completely different. He was given a role in the National Development Program, helping to create vocational training centers for youth. His story became a living testimony that one's fate could change overnight, that no one was invisible in the eyes of true leadership. And Ibrahim? He knew that this was not just about helping one friend. It was about sending a message. Africa's strength lies not in forgetting its poor, but in lifting them. For every Musa, there is hidden brilliance waiting for a chance. The friendship between the president and the mechanic became a legend in Burkina Faso. Children in villages repeated the story. Young dreamers found hope, and even the weary found courage. For what Ibrahim did was more than kindness. It was justice. It was brotherhood. It was leadership. And deep inside, when Ibrahim looked at his old friend, he saw more than the grease and the hardship. He saw the boy who once sat beside him, laughing under mango trees, daring to dream. And he knew, no matter how high he rose, he would never forget where he came from. Because true power is not measured in wealth or palaces. It is measured in how deeply you can lift others when the world has forgotten them.